I welcome you to behavioral patterns, which is the last lab. There are 11 patterns in behavioral patterns, out of which I will focus on 4 to 5 behavioral patterns. The rest of the patterns we have to study from the book that has been mentioned in the syllabus. We will start with patterns. As we all know that there are 3 things: creational, structural, and behavioral patterns. So, behavioral patterns, they characterize the ways in which the classes and object interact. So, behavior is all about the chain of actions and reactions that is there with the classes and objects. So, behavioral classes patterns, they capture how classes cooperate. So, therefore, to remind you, I have extracted the word CMOS TV, that is chain of responsibility, command, mediator, then memento, observer, state, strategy, template, and visitor. So, class patterns, template method, behavioral object patterns describe how a group of how the group of peer objects. Now, here there is a group that is being formed, okay, to cooperate to perform a task that no single object can carry out. So there exists sharing, there exists processing transfer from one particular object of the type to the another one. So the examples are mediator, dominantly mediator uses it, observer, command, and strategy. We have seen the listing of all these things, okay, and the compound patterns, okay, where the recursive object structures are being referenced. So that has been done with the iterator. To summarize, we have got the interactions, okay, to be modeled as behavioral patterns, and they are having the 3 categories: class patterns, object patterns, and compound patterns. In class patterns, the classes cooperation with the subclasses has been the issue. In the object patterns, group or bunch of peer objects, they interact with each other, they cooperate on the same ground. And the compound patterns, they deal with the recursive object structure. So this is what is the preliminaries of behavioral patterns. So the command pattern, first one, isn't it? It's an order. You cannot override this, right? So command pattern, what it does, it defines an object that encapsulates a request, and this is being used for configuration of objects with different requests, implementing undoable operations, and queuing or logging requests. Queuing or logging requests. Now the 2 things are been there, the requester and the implementer. So requester should not be required to have specific knowledge about the request, that who will handle the dependencies, how the dependencies will be handled. Okay, so it should be desirable to decouple the client from the target. We don't know from where the result is being generated, okay, who exactly was responsible for generating the results. So decoupling of the client from the target, and when the flexibility and adaptability are required on a frequent basis, okay. So adapter pattern we are already been aware about. Flexibility is an additional kind of a component. So just see to it, command patterns structure. There is a command which is an abstract class, and there is invoker. There could be multiple invokers. The client tries to access to the target through the concrete command which has got the invoker, and the target will be initiating the action for the requesting client. Okay, so the target will be running an action for the client. I repeat again, the command is an abstract class. It has got the concrete class as concrete command, which has got the operation execute. Now execute is an action for the target, right? Now the client tries to access the target where the target is not known through the concrete command. Concrete command generates the invoker, that is execute some action for the client and reports back to the client. So client is not aware about who is the exact target. Another example is that commands, they build up the menu item, multiple menu items. They can build the menu, add a menu, delete menu, and so on. And an application can consist of multiple documents which can be open, closed. You can have cut, copy, paste. Okay. And if you run a command execute, then what will happen? What has been clicked for execution, that will be picked up. It will refer to the menu item and the document properties will be handled, that is open, close, cut, copy, paste. The menus can be implemented easily with the command objects and so on. So just see to it more examples. Paste command, right? A command is of the type paste command. So document refers to it, right? Paste. Directly the document is running a command paste. So when execute happens is the paste command is being executed. None of the other actions will be executed, that is cut or copy. Yeah. But see, the ownership for the paste goes up with the document. Yeah. So now another example is that for command, open command is the concrete object. Execute is the command. Ask use, isn't it? It's been there for application scope. So the name could be add document, the document which has been current. The open commands execute operation, it does what? It prompts the user for document name, creates a corresponding documents object, adds the document to target application and opens the document. These are the four things that have been happening as a consequence of running open commands execute operation. So you can have the bundle, isn't it? That is, this is about the object patterns. Just see to it whether we can see such a grouping that is there. I will scroll to the previous slides. Right here, object patterns. They describe how a group of peer objects cooperate to form a task. So what was the task? Execute certain operation. Execute certain operation or open command here, and then certain four actions were been carried out. Another example is command is of the type macro. So for all C in commands executes the C. Here it is the concrete command subclass C. Here and it has no explicit target. So explicit means undefined and defines the commands on its own. And these are all the functions for command which are already being explained. So extensibility, how it addresses extensibility, adding a new command type, adding a new target type, and you can work around on macro commands, history files such as stress, how many files will be worked out in a day's context or certain timer you can set around. So this is the collaboration diagram. Client gives a request for command. Invoker adopts the command, executes it, returns back the action, and the action results are being communicated back to the target. So simplified way also has been suggested. The benefits are the commands are the first class objects. They can be assembled into composite commands, but you must know what should be the composite structure. And let us move to the next one, iterator pattern. Because you are already aware about the 12 patterns which were being discussed with you thoroughly, here you will not be needing too much kind of time to understand the behavioral patterns, that is iterator. The sign is been clear, isn't it, for iterator? And iterators provide standard interface for enumerating the components of the collection. It hides the gory details, that is the unneeded details, right? So, just see to the simplified structure, that is the pseudocode. Initialize iteration for first element. If iteration is not over, go to the next element, process elements, continue the iterations, right? So, iterator is a separate kind of an object. Just this example has been suggesting to you. Objects structure. The client refers to the object structure, which has got certain thing to be executed for n number of times. So it generates its concrete object structure, that is create iterator, and you have got the concrete iterator. Yeah, and when the iterator sets up the condition, it sets up the condition for the concrete iterator, that is how many times it should be iterated for the client. See to it that the composition structure for the concrete iterator is being kept same for the iterator, right? So the pseudocode that was been shown to you, okay, in this previous slides, is been executed here. So iterator pattern provides interface for enumerating the elements, encapsulates and defines the traversal strategy, the concrete iterator. Object structure defines an interface, and concrete object structure access its element. Client, it uses concrete iterator. What has been used in turn? The client has been using concrete iterator, okay, to iterate for n number of times through the object structure. So these are the collaborations, and just see to it alternative implementations for iterator. Who controls the iteration? There has to be certain conditions. Who defines the traversal algorithm? How robust is the iterator? About robustness, you must know that it is a fail-safe kind of a situation, or it indicates the recovery pattern. And you can use polymorphic iterator in C++, which has got multiple forms. And you can have null iterators also, which returns nothing. So sample code, client code, isn't it, has been there for certain n number of times. Do the iteration from the first communicated element to the last conditional element. What are the benefits? Okay, easy to use, performance efficiency, maintainability, extensibility, and reuse. So related patterns for iterator is composite, memento. That is, memento is capturing the state of iteration where the iterator stores the memento internally. That is the stamp. visitors, they can be combined with the iterators. So what is the iterator's responsibility here? Traversing the compound structure. What is the visitor's responsibility? Implementing the algorithmic step for each node. Always assume that visitor is an external entity, not belonging to the original command, right? Mediator pattern, as the name suggests, it is a mediator means some kind of an coordinator that yields communication between the interacting object. So some of the times it is been referred to as the glue patterns that sticks in two types of communicating entities. It is also referred as glue pattern, that is sticking two kind of an class hierarchies together. Yeah. So just see to it, this is an example, unstructured kind of an interaction pattern has been shown. Client or user accesses object A, object B, object C, object D. Now, afterwards you can have the ports now. That is, the layer of abstraction has been added. Who can communicate with whom? This channelization has been done through the mediator object. The client is referred to the mediator object first, then having direct communication with object A. Object A cannot communicate directly with object B unless the mediator agrees upon. So which one is better? This hierarchy or this hierarchy? Probably you will agree that this is a better representation than the previous one, which is wavered. Now, just see to it that why one is been saying that this is a better representation. The reason for that is you can see a distinct structure. What if there are 26 objects A, B, C, D till Z? You would have shown them like this, A through Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Yeah. A interacts with B, then B interacts with C, C interacts with E, E interacts with Z, then Z interacts with D. Whether it would have been better or channelizing the thing to the mediator ports, right? Client has to access only the mediator object, not to the distinct object. Likewise, if certain message has to be given to your division, it should be given to your CR. CR will toss up the message to everybody. Then I'll be communicating the message to who is roll number 2, who is roll number 10, who is 20, okay, inviting you all, okay. So that will be a kind of a loss, okay, of the communication channel. So mediators, just see to it. Colleague classes will be identified and then the mediator yields the communication. So this is the example dialog director. So you have got the control object. You can control the dialogues for list boxes and entry build. So dialog director is the abstract class that defines overall infrastructure, and clients call the show dialog option, okay, and then create controls and handle change. Create controls, do you find it? Yes. Create controls and handle change. First of all, the dialog has to be shown. The client is going to access that. Then the two things are being opened up. Create controls and handle the change. The next thing is dialog director subclass override the create controls. So individual kind of a communication can happen. So this is the message sequence chart. The first of thing is that showing the dialog here. Before that, handle the change, right, and get the selection. Once the selection has been done, the text has been set for the entry field between the colleagues. Right. So this is a good pattern for group communication actually. Right. So collaborations, colleagues send and receive requests to and from an mediator object. Yeah. That is your problems you indicate through your CR or your class teacher. Right. And then mediator implements cooperative behavior, that is studying the colleague's request and studying the client request, right? And then there are obviously advantages of mediator. Moves complexity out of the problem domain solution, that is mainline routines, and non-essential implementation details are been hidden. So just sufficiency is been given. Sufficient control has been provided, right? So the changes or the improvements to the underlying functions and objects do not require the change to client code. This is the biggest advantage. The client is not bothered, okay, to change the code. There will not be a ripple effect, okay, that is also significant. Not just the amplification, the ripple effect, okay, is also been controlled. So for controlling that, the overall dependency structure has to be understood, should be taken into consideration. So if the meteor becomes too complex, it can become, yeah. So therefore, do not allow the meteor to become a special case handler. So limited kind of an complexity level has to be kept, okay. Okay, if mediator is small, then extra overhead of mediator development may not be justified, okay. Both of the extremes are dangerous, alright. That is, and in other words, can you trust your mediator's decisions? It is a question of trust, that is amongst the colleagues. So trust level, again, if it has been there with the larger request handler or large set of colleagues, okay, are being presented, then complexity situation will be arising, and even in that case abstraction will not help you. So the things will be going out of bound and out of control. So when it should be used? When the group of colleagues interact in complex but well defined ways. They know their responsibilities, right? So extra burden of mediation for regulating the services has been taken off. It has been shouldered by who? Mediator, through the communication ports. Now let us go about the observer pattern. One to many dependencies it handles, and once the state has been changed, all the dependents are being notified and updated automatically. Now just see to it, this is the case with publish subscribe. Publisher publishes note, subscribers or dependents get notified, right? So therefore the key objects in observer are subject and observer. Now who is the subject? Subject may have any number of dependent observers. The observers are notified when the subject undergoes a change in the state. So if the state change is there, it will be notified, right? If let us say a case, an example in common sense, if somebody who is taking care of 100 people, right, is been notified by competing authorities that you have to do this action set, then the state change with the single entity will happen. Automatically the hundreds will be collected, okay, through the dependency relationship. It means that if a seal is been applied on the main gate, it means that the chairman has been informed, if let us say for a society, that the door has to be locked. The door has to be locked for the chairman as well as the residents of the society. So therefore, it is the job of the chairman to inform all of the members of the society. So then saying it to in some way, okay, this is very much closer to mediator, but distinctive thing is it's only about concerned about the state change, and the dependents are been getting notified. Okay, so hugely used in publish subscribe architectural style. So subject and observer, right? See that it is the subject which informs the observer. So observer has to get updated. So notification, doing the notification is the job of subject. Getting updated is the job of observer. So therefore, concrete subject will get the state, current state. That is subject state. And it will be communicating to the concrete observer. So the dependency has been there, that multiple observers have been there on a single subject. So all of the observers will be updating their own states based on the subject state modifications. Okay, I hope so. You have understood the example, right? So an object should be separated in two parts. That is, one part encapsulates the states and operations, and another encapsulates the mechanisms. That is, the separate the interfaces and functionality. Do not mix them up. Do not mix them up, because if you will be mixing them up, then the things would be difficult to handle. So this is again the description of what has been explained to you. So a concrete subject communicates to concrete observer 1, 2, 3, 4. So set state, notify, getting updated. Fourth step is update the self. The fifth step is update directly concrete observer 2 and update the self. Now updating the self is the responsibility given to concrete observer. It is not the duty of the subject, okay, to check that whether the concrete observer has updated itself or not, because principally the observer pattern is been derived from publish subscribe architectural style. So the issues related with the implementation, mapping subjects to their observer world, but natural, this is one-to-many relationship. Dangling the references to deleted subjects, right? From where the publishing has been coming in. You must know that. Ensuring self-consistency and having the push-pull method. Who will be giving the push-pull kind of models? This is quite generalized. Pushing up the notification and pulling down and updating the things, right? So the next thing is, just an observer again, publish subscribe. Then we see, before we can see, special case of publish subscribe is MVC, model view controller pattern, right? So it is widely being used in industry, MVC. So do not confuse MVC, right? That it is a separate kind of an design pattern. It is a special case of publish subscribe and observer pattern, right? So this is the motivation. Additional slides these are subject and observer. As I have told you, see the collaboration, set state, notify, update, get state, and then update the observer. Okay, the subject sends up the updates to this. Applicability and consequences are abstract coupling, supports broadcast communication, but natural these broadcast communications. Quite obvious, right? Because the relationship is one to many, spurious updates. Okay, this could be the costly affair. Unexpected interactions has to be tracked down and locked down. Yeah, so the observers are been modifying the subject state. This should not be permitted. Right? So this is the implementation. Dangling references, as we have seen, has to be avoided. Push pull. So the push will be from the subject sends info that it think the observer wants. Pull, observer requests information when it's needed. And then the last point is chain of responsibility. Avoiding coupling the sender of a request to its receiver. Coupling the sender of a request to its receiver by giving more than one object a chance to handle the request. That is, this works around on decoupling mechanism, right? So just see to it. Application has got the help handler. Widgets are being handled. So chain of responsibility. Chain of responsibilities decouples the interface from the mechanism. That is handle help and show help. Okay, they are being decoupled. Right. Only help handler at the outer wings will handle the request coming in for application. So another thing, that is print button and an application and a print dialog. A print button will handle the help. The print dialog will get opened and handling of the request will be done by the application. So for multiple requests, the chain of responsibilities is being used. So more than one object may handle the request, and the handler isn't known a priori. Okay, so this has to be ascertained automatically. So there should not be a manual linkage or lineage here about the handlers, and the receivers should not have the knowledge about who at the end is processing the things. Okay, so the things could go around dynamically. The request can be specified dynamically. So set of objects which will interact will be decided dynamically. So this is again one of the examples. Okay, we have checked it. Client works out with the handler. Handler has got concrete handlers, and then successors. The handlers are defining the interface for handling the request, and then concrete handlers, the request for which it is being responsible, and then consequences are reduced coupling, added flexibility, but the thing, receipt is not guaranteed. The request may fall off the end of the chain. By chain, we mean the list, right? So abrupt termination can also happen in case of chain of responsibility. So state, object is having state and behavior, we all know. So object alters its behavior, that is at the external, when its internal state changes. So this is an example. A TCP connection object that responds differently to the request given its current state. So all state dependent actions are being delegated. That is TCP connection open and closed has been given to TCP state management. So TCP connection establishment, listening and closed mode has to be delegated. So this delegation makes the TCP connection viable. So any kind of a change in TCP connection will be notified to the TCP state and it will work out with the delegation principle. So applicability for state is that the behavior would be depending on its state. Operations have large multi-part conditional statements. So therefore, this has been elaborated by enumerated constants. So definite kind of an figure would be there. So several operations may be there, right, which will be containing the same conditional structure. And the last point here is that this lets you treat the object's state as an object in its own right. So one object can vary from another object depending on its behavior, because the state change, first the internal change state happens, then the external one. We have seen the TCP connection example, right? So this is what is the structure. The context has been set up. So the state has been communicated. Any state change happens, the state has got the handle function and the concrete state A and B are being handled. So probably that will mark the end of this session, right? Consequences you can read and understand. State object can be shared, and yes, thanks a lot for